Betty and Veronica, fashion has always been the name of the game. So let's dig back into some classic Archie comics that fully illustrate this concept as we examine Betty and Veronica dolls. Not action figures, dolls. Previously on Terrific Non-TV Toys, we looked at 2 out of the 3 Veronica dolls from this set by Playing Mantis, released in the year 2000. There were 3 variations of each character, 3 Veronicas and 3 Bettys. I explained last time that one of the Veronicas went to my niece Veronica back in the day when I originally bought them, so that's why you only see 2 out of the 3. Each one of these dolls comes with a comic book, so we've got an issue of Archie with one Veronica and an issue of Betty and Veronica. Now, for this time, we are going to turn our attention to the Betty dolls. Let's look at some Betty and Me comics. I have quite a few of them. Would I say that, oh my gosh, this is bringing back memories. Would I say that I identified more with Betty back then as a kid? Yeah. Nowadays, maybe I'm a little more Veronica than I was back then. I would say half and half. This is an issue from 1973, and I want to show you something that I didn't even realize until I just picked this up just a moment ago. I remember this vividly, this cover, and my brother's friend Ryan, who hung out with him as kids, he wrote, oh my gosh, he wrote on her butt, F-O-X, Fox. Ryan, oh my gosh, I remember that after all these years and I had completely forgotten. I used to like to write my name on my comics. Such a bad girl. But as you look at these comics, this one from the 70s, there's little Jinx, a folded page, you will see the fashions, the looks that represented that era. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Here's another one. This one's probably from the 70s as well. I just loved looking at what they were wearing. I remember all of these covers so vividly. The riding outfit. Getting a little more recent. There's another Betty and Me. This one is probably from the 90s, 1992, a few years before this doll set came out. There's the one that has Cheryl Blossom in it, the Betty and Veronica Spectacular we saw last time. So, yeah, I just loved reading these just over and over when I was a kid. So, all right, Betty. Betty, the faithful, tolerant, patient companion of Veronica from the comics that you also see brought to life on the TV show Riverdale. And I mentioned last time I love the casting of Riverdale. I think it's pretty good, pretty accurate to the characters. And so we're going to take these out of the box for the first time. I never opened them before. I just put them away. I figured I would open them. I always planned to open them. But, you know, I'm just like, I don't need to now. I'll just put it away for a while. I'll open them eventually. Maybe display them. Well, I haven't done that in 19 years. And if there was a reason to open them, this one is a pretty good one to actually open them on camera so that you can see them. As I do, and you can live vicariously. If you own these dolls yourself, you can keep yours unopened if you want to open mine with me. There's an issue of Betty. Wow, Betty, you do have a green thumb. This is September 2000. So we will read that later. Got the card that is packaged with it. And now I pause because these things are difficult to get out of the package. I will be right back. And we're back, and I think Betty's going to be a little bit easier than Veronica is hair-wise. The most difficult part of getting these dolls out of the package after so many years is that they have a piece of plastic stitched onto their hair, basically. You have to gently pull it. And I thought Betty's was going to be easier, but it's really tricky. and difficult. And Betty's is a little easier. But see how it's stitched right into the hair. No desire to destroy these beloved dolls on camera. You know what? I'm going to leave it the way it is. Wow. Bummer. Bummer for the collector. Well, maybe I can get it out. Okay. Well, for the most part, it comes out. Really, really terrible packaging. Yeah, for the collector. Actually, for the parent. I think I said last time, I can't imagine this was that much easier back then. You almost have to cut it out. I'm going to leave it as is, but you literally almost have to cut it out. It's ridiculous. Wow. Maybe it preserved the hair, but wow. It's terrible. Now with Betty wearing short sleeves, you can see more of her articulation. She has a swivel there at the elbow. And she's kind of soft, rubbery plastic here with her arm. Wearing a vest with what looks like a t-shirt type shirt underneath it, tucked into her pants, her denim jeans looking pants. Got Velcro enclosure in the back and Velcro enclosure for her vest. And then beautiful, glossy, shiny blonde hair, and lots of it in her trademark ponytail. And then she's got bangs too. She comes with the same kind of brush that were in both the Veronica dolls that we looked at. It says B&V on it. Nice plastic pink brush, and I can brush some of her hair. A lot of it. And there's her bangs. Cute little bangs. And look at those eyes. You know, even on the Mark styles that they did in the 1970s for Archie Comics, they did a Betty and Veronica and an Archie and a Jughead that you saw in an episode of Terrific TV Toys a couple years ago. These have much the same comic book looking facial features. You know, like they look like they're from the comic book with the eyes and everything. Yeah, but she's a Barbie type doll. She's got her articulation in her knee and swivel hips and everything. She moves just like a Barbie doll. So she's a good toy for a kid. And then the shoes are, it looks like the same shoes as Veronica. Let me see. Maybe. Yeah. They're very similar. They're just a little bit different. These are more of a loafer type thing, whereas in the soccer player Veronica, when we put her shoes on, they're more of a sneaker. Just a slight difference in the design of those. So there's her shoes. Okay, and then also this Betty has a laptop. Oh yeah! Reflecting the year 2000, certainly. Oh my gosh, it's hinged. I love that. Look at that. Now that is a plus. It's even got some detail on the side, like it's got a drive or USB connections. I love it. Yay. Good job on the laptop. Okay, so that is this Betty. I'm going to put her aside. Betty comic book. There's also a Cheerleader Betty, and this was the one that was featured in this advertising that I showed a photocopy of before, introducing Betty and Veronica fashion dolls. The Cheerleader, Riverdale Cheerleader, blue and gold. So, let's get this Betty out of the box. Maybe I won't go through the whole ordeal of taking her out of the packaging. Here's the cardboard insert. And then the comic book this time is Betty and Veronica. This style makes our legs look longer. It also makes the guys look longer. That is so cute. And Mr. Dan DeCarlo, the artist, the trademark artist of Betty and Veronica and Archie Comics, worked for them more than 50 years. This is also September 2000, so it seems like those were the issues they chose to include with these dolls. And for the Cheerleader Betty, gosh, I wish I could take her out a little more easily. She's got her pom-poms, which I wonder if they... Yes! They slip out! Wow. Something that comes out of the package easily. That is incredible. Okay, so she's got one of each color, blue and gold. And perhaps you could kind of loop her hand under that yarn with some effort, and she could hold on to each one. Yeah. And then her sneakers are basically what you saw with Veronica. And again, the sticky thing going on, I think, with age. The Veronica soccer player had the black version of these. And yeah, they are different from the shoes, the black shoes we just looked at with the other Betty, because they are really sneakers. And they have the detail on the side, almost like it's a swooshy type logo, like on a brand name. Same detail as the Veronica soccer player, only white instead of black this time. And some stitching in there I'll have to cut off. Huh, okay. So, kind of sticky rubber after all these years, just like the Veronica sneakers, so maybe there was a slightly different material that they made those out of. But a nice little cheerleader outfit, kind of a stretchy, cottony fabric with a ribbed collar and some detail, some nice detail of a gold stripe and white ribbed around the wrist. And then Bobby socks. Oh, I love Bobby socks. Very cute. Okay. Let's set her aside and look at the last Betty. And this Betty is wearing an outfit that reflects the latter 1990s, early 2000s. So let's free her from her box. And again, same packaging. I didn't really emphasize that this time, but there is some verbiage on the back. Betty, blue-eyed, blonde, perky, and beautiful with a personality that's sweeter than honey. Betty is the sort of girl boys can't help but fall madly in love with. Despite playing second fiddle to her best friend Veronica, Betty never gives up hope that one day Archie will come to his senses and see that she is the only girl for him. You know, Betty is the girl next door, you realize. And on Riverdale, they played that same theme as in the comics, where she literally lived next door to Archie. And while her own little plots and schemes don't always work, Betty finds that what works best for snaring Archie is when she's simply her sweet, fun-loving self. As the old saying goes, blondes have more fun, and no girl in Riverdale has more fun than Betty. So you've got the Playing Mantis website and logo on the bottom, just like with the Veronica ones. Oh, and you know, I also didn't emphasize, and you may have noticed as I was opening these came from KB Toys. That's where I bought all 6 of these. They retailed for $10.99, but look at what I got them for, $4.99, $5 each for all of those. So that was a really good deal. I was very excited to get all 6. Oh, and the comic book didn't automatically fall out this time. This is another issue of Betty. Betty is so old-fashioned. Everybody's walking around with cell phones and she's using a payphone, which even now, 19 years later, this is July 2000, 19 years later is almost extinct, right? The concept of a cell phone. Okay, so she's got sort of clam digger pants on, capri pants, really, which were popular back then, with a split on the side. I like that. It's a canvasy linen type material. Again, with the plastic brush, the same as the other ones. Oh, and different shoes. Can I yank these shoes out of there without destroying them? There we go. Different shoes. They're slides. Like those. Yeah. Again, with the rubbery, the sticky type rubber. That has not aged all that well. Let's see if I can get her little backpack out. The without having to pause and really wrestle it like I have with everything else. All right, yep, it loosens quite a bit. A linen type backpack, which you actually could put on her. Love that. And it's got Velcro, right? Velcro with a little bit of stitching that comes right off. So it's got a Velcro enclosure, and you can put stuff in it. If you're a little girl, you know, she needs to like put her, her shoes in there. She's gonna walk on the beach or something. Put her shoes in there for later. Yeah. Yeah, we're thinking like a little girl. And so in the front of these pants, these capri pants, she's got a little delicate tie. And then her shirt is a short shirt, like a bare midriff type shirt, 3/4 length sleeve in sort of a polyester material with orangey design. Oh, she's so cute. I also should be drawing your attention to the inside of these boxes. All of them are the same in that they have comic book panels that are yellow, in a yellow cast, but real Archie comic book panels, which is a nice effect too, really reinforcing that comic book theme. And including a comic book, you can't beat that. I love looking at these years later and seeing the advertising. And they even had letters, like you could write to Archie Comics and write to Betty, in theory, for advice. There's an advice column in these. Definitely delightful for little kids. 500th issue, I remember that. I've got that downstairs. And fan drawings that they would send in too, and they would put your name in there and your city. Very cool. Sabrina the Teenage Witch was on the air, and they had a book series. Remember watching that on Friday nights, right? TGIF. Oh, so cool. We love these Archie dolls. Year 2000 by Playing Mantis. You can find them on eBay, on Amazon. I even saw them on Walmart.com. And you can find them maybe for $50, $75 each. Or you can buy them in pairs. You might even be able to get all 6. That would be cool. But they are lovely dolls. Good for a kid, good for a collector. So thanks for watching once again, and keep it tuned to BRBTV for more terrific non-TV toys.